Asylum seeker, RSDO, refugee status, determination officer. The decision. The RSDO has an obligation to provide the applicant with a written decision identifying the reasons for rejecting the application. These reasons must be adequate, PAJA, 5.2, and individualized to enable the applicant to make out a proper case on review or appeal, con. Scheier,
T-up.
seat 6 dive. In addition, the decision must be justifiable in terms of the evidence, related rationally to the facts, Katabana v. SCRA, and be free of error of law, such as an incorrect standard of proof, Fang v. RAB. If the application for asylum is approved, a certificate of recognition of refugee status is valid for a period of 4 years and is renewable. The certificate contains the person's name, date of birth, photo, thumbprint, and a barcoded number. A refugee must apply for renewal of the certificate at least 90 days prior to the expiry thereof. The refugee is entitled to an identity document, similar to a South African identity card, which must contain the identity number of the holder, the person's name and surname, gender, date and place of birth, the country of which the holder is a citizen, if any, a recent photograph, and the holder's fingerprints. A recognized refugee is entitled to seek employment. Spouse and children. A person who applies for refugee status and who would like one or more of his or her spouse and dependents to be granted refugee status must, when applying for asylum, include the details of such spouse and dependents in the application. Any refugee whose child is born in South Africa must, within 1 month of the birth of his or her child, register such a child as a dependent at any refugee reception office. In determining the authenticity of a marriage declared at the time of making an application for asylum, the Refugee Status Determination Officer must authenticate the marriage certificate and conduct an interview, separately and on the same date, with both the parties to the marriage to ascertain the existence of a genuine marriage relationship. Both parties to a marriage who have been issued with an asylum seeker visa or granted refugee status must, at the renewal of his or her asylum seeker visa or refugee status, as the case may be, inform the Refugee Status Determination Officer whether or not the marriage still exists by submitting an affidavit to the Refugee Status Determination Officer. Any person who fails to declare a dependent child and subsequently returns to the Refugee Reception Office to claim asylum on behalf of such dependent child, he or she shall be required to provide proof of relationship in the form of the results of a paternity test, failing which, such child shall be dealt with as an unaccompanied child. Any dependent must within 6 months of the termination of dependency apply in person for asylum at the Refugee Reception Office where his or she asylum seeker visa was issued.